happy September 11th, I guess, or my condolences. I don't know. What does one say, right? Well, it seems that America has just about forgotten is on its way there. That is what it is. So, Tartaria, or whatever else you want to call it, is still a new world order. Psyop. And I know this is very difficult for some people to deal with because they've put so much energy into researching. I'm sorry, but I'm not saying that's the wrong word to use, but, you know, hitting keys on the keyboard and, you know, doing internet research, I suppose, it's, that's not the highest level of scientific evidence available, or whatever the hell, right? That's, come on, right? Research. And it's interesting how that research, that way of researching stuff, is completely valid and reliable, and the best way to get the truth when it comes to this myth of an ancient global civilization, right, where everything was honky-dory and peaceful and we all loved one another and there was no war and no gays. All that other fucking nonsense, right? But when it comes to the war in Ukraine, it's like there's supposedly a war in Ukraine, even though you have thousands of accounts, channels in social media going there and recording the shit for you, right? Yeah, they're all just downloading all this CGI from, I don't know, some secret database that only thousands of them have access to, right? Let me take another sip of my coffee, damn it. Right, all these million plus 2 million migrants from both Russia and Ukraine, right? That's just, you know, the Kalergi plan, I guess. Or it's not actually happening, right? What's going on? Yeah. Right? It's the same shit that the U.S. did in the Middle East, right? Or more or less, right? The effects are the same. An increasingly intermingling, multi-culti, global citizen population, right? Putin's doing the exact same thing. Now, look, these individuals, right, they may have different motivations. There's ways to convince them to these things, to do these things that are external of my analysis here, right? Or for some other reason than the ones I talk about here. But at the end of the day, right, whoever's pulling the strings to whatever degree, right, behind these people, well, the effects, at least to some degree, in some aspects, in some respects, are the same, right? Except the people that were bitching and moaning about the U.S. doing it, right, are rah Russia. Fucking clowns, man. Absolute fucking clowns. So anyway, True Stream Media, a very good channel in my opinion. I'm sure most of you know about them, even though they're, you know, a little bit right-wing woke, and obviously I don't agree with everything they have to say because, and I say they're right-wing woke because despite all the fucking evidence that's so easy to obtain, right, they still question the reality of the war in Ukraine, right? I mean, give me a break. But yeah, they made this video about occult symbolism and, you know, and Burning Man, and I had to turn it off because for about 14 minutes in, I just couldn't do it anymore because it was just all, you know, there's supposedly a war in Ukraine, and it was just like Ukraine. Well, who the fuck started this thing, right? Kinetically, who? Ukraine? The fuck out of here. I mean, it's just the right-wing wokes, man. You guys, you're just as sheepish, in a sense, when it comes to certain things, or sheeply, maybe, as the leftist sheep. In many respects, you're no better. It's just this whole, like, anti. Well, they say that, so I have to say the exact opposite. And you're getting manipulated just the same. absolute clowns. But anyway, they made a video that had some interesting tidbits in it, and they talked about how the Club of Rome at some point, one of these globalist think tanks, right, that Russia is so much against, even though Russia is the third Rome now? Isn't that what it's supposed to be? So the Club of Russia, right, they're all... Yes, there's in my opinion, obviously, individuals, there's various groups with various ideas and agendas, right? But all of these groups are infiltrated by the cabal, whatever the fuck you want to call them. A lot of these groups, anyway, who have the same goal in mind, and they're manipulating these people to do their bidding, essentially, right? Very broad scope, superficial analysis of the situation, IMO. But yeah, they talked about how the Club of Rome has this agenda set out on this in the 60s, a long time ago, to create a global or myth of, a global, ancient global society, civilization, blah, 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 this and that, right? Which sounds exactly like Tartaria, right? The Great Tartaria being one of them. Well, who the fuck were the Tartars, right? Once again. Well, not exactly, but to some people, they were the Mongols, right? It was that empire, right? Eurasian empire, right? Conquered a whole bunch of Asia and Eurasia, right? Their leader apparently had blue eyes, right? And red hair and blue eyes or something like that. So they say, right? Or gray? I don't remember now. Gray eyes, right? He was of mixed ancestry, it would seem. Eurasianists, right? Kind of like Stalin. I mean, look at him. Look at Putin, right? Look at Lenin, right? Is it just a coincidence that all these people, you look Eurasian, a little bit European, a little bit Asian? But you could say that about a lot of people in Russia. Yeah. That's the whole fucking point. That's what Russia is supposed to be. That whole sentiment, right? This idea of a Eurasianist empire. Well, who the fuck conquered the Russians at one point, right? The Mongols, right? Raped their women, infiltrated their society, right? And that sort of energy, if you will, these societies, these ideologies, it doesn't matter what the outer shell is, whether it's USSR or the communist. Why are so many parts of that world just authoritarian, communist, right? Why? Right? It's that's where that shit just took root. It came from, somewhere else perhaps, but that's where it all took root. The ideology is just there. A global communist empire. Duh. Right? You got North Korea. All these other places, even like Kazakhstan, Tajikistan, all these places are super authoritarian, and maybe not Kazakhstan itself, but the imperialist mindset, the authoritarian mindset, these ideologies of global conquest by the sword, right? It's all very much alive and well in that part of the world. And it's the Eurasianist empire that's eventually supposed to be, right? I mean, it used to stretch all the way out to Alaska, right? And that's the New World Order, right? Decreasing U.S. power, destroying the hegemony of the liberal world, which, comes with its own problems, no doubt about it. But would you rather, have all the things that you have, those of you living in the West, or be stuck in a Russian gulag or some Uyghur camp in China, right? Or that fucking landlocked, well, not exactly, island, or is it, of North Korea, prison, right? You live where you live for some very good fucking reasons. And you could bitch and moan about what's going on, right? But given the keys to the asylum, if you will, to these absolute bloodthirsty empiricist authoritarians, well, how the fuck is that the solution? I don't understand, right? So, and look, I do think there are people in the Ukrainian government that are, I mean, this lady came out and part of the Ukrainian parliament, right? And came out and said that we're fighting for the New World Order, right? Crazy dogs. Anyway, so I do think there are, and it's clear to see, it's obvious to see, there are traitors in Ukraine, and there are people in Ukraine who want to destroy Ukraine and build something new, right? And there's those people, right, that want to create this new world order, this new world, whether it be, you know, a world without any borders, with one central government somewhere, with smart cities everywhere, right? Where there's, I mean, this is straight out of World Economic Forum, right? No more wars. Everyone's going to be happy. You're not going to own anything. You're going to be happy. It's going to be super peaceful. Everyone's going to live in harmony, right? It's a fucking communist utopia. That's what that shit is. And Tartaria, right, is a Club of Rome or similar think tank creation to brainwash people with this sort of idea, right? A global society, and it's this trad nonsense, right? Of living in a peaceful world where, you know, there's free energy, right? We're like at the height of human development and progress and technology, and we could end world hunger. Everyone's going to be happy, right? All you need is just, you know, I don't know, some kind of authoritarian communist dictator that just quells all the strife and all the quibbles and all the bickering and puts everybody in line, and you know, we get a new orderly world, right? New world order, where the United States is no longer in charge and it's somebody else. And for the time being, it looks like these authoritarian, it's authoritarianism that's trying to take over completely. It has infiltrated definitely Australia. Look at what's been going on there. Hong Kong. Look at what's been going on in a lot of the U.S. states. EU, right? Communism has been taken over. Whatever the fuck you want to call it, right? Bolshevism, whatever you want to call it. It's clearly not the liberal world order. And they've infiltrated the liberal world order and degenerated it. The West is losing its way. But where do you think the degeneracy is coming from? Well, the people who are anti-degeneracy, right? Because you're supposed to reach out to them to come and save you, to solve the problem they themselves created by degenerating the West. They couldn't meet it on the battlefield and hope to conquer it. They've tried so many times and ultimately lost every single time. You know what I mean? Yeah, they had some wins along the way, but at the end of the day, they lost. So they had to infiltrate and destroy it from within. And they've been very successful. And all of you right-wing woke dummies are just helping them out. Instead of preserving what's yours. You're trad, right? You're supposed to be preserving what's yours. right? Going back to your roots, if you will. You've been begging for a Chinese, Russian, communist dictator. These people have been appealing to you. You think Big Daddy's gonna come fucking save you? Yeah, right. What an idiocy. Anyway, Tartaria is just... It's a commie psyop. It's the World Economic Forum, right? New world order, global society, where everybody lives in peace and everybody's happy, and one central power is in charge. So there could be no more strife, no more quibbles, no more arguing, no more wars, no more arguing, right? No debate. Oh, what a fucking joke. So, shout out to True Stream Media. Although they're a bit right-wing woke, they're kind of on the right path. I just don't think they see the big picture. And this whole, ancient global society, high-tech, yada yada. Yeah, there's some truth to it, but it's mostly fucking bullshit. It's this myth that's been promulgated, created by the Club of Rome and the like, in order to brainwash you, to get you ready for exactly that type of society. When it finally does come, you accept it. Okay? And it's exactly why these Tartarian researchers keep talking about resets, periodic resets, great reset. I mean, it's all there. Give me a fucking break, man. How fucking stupid can people be? I'm out of here. The fuck?